Ever wondered how a bunch of bored hippies could bring the mighty CIA to its knees? Now that's a tale that's as intriguing as it gets. Picture this, it's the late 60s and the air is thick with political tension and social unrest. The United States is on the brink of a revolution, and amidst this chaos, there's a plot brewing. A scheme so audacious, it's almost comical. Enter the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, the big guns, the guys in sleek suits and shiny shoes. They're good at what they do, or so they think, but they're about to become the unsuspecting victims of a well-intentioned but incredibly misguided scheme. Imagine an elephant being tripped over by a mouse. That's the kind of scene we're setting up here. So, are you ready to dive into this wild tale of countercultural rebellion? Stick around if you want to find out how they did it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So, let's set the stage. Picture this. The year is 1967, the Cold War is in full swing, and the CIA, ever the busy bees, are hatching a plan so audacious, it's almost comical. Enter Operation Chaos. The goal? To monitor, infiltrate, and disrupt left-wing organizations and anti-war groups worldwide. And how, do you ask, did they plan to achieve this? Well, let's just say it involved a fair share of shenanigans that would make even the most seasoned of sitcom writers blush. Imagine a group of seasoned spies masquerading as hippies trying to blend into the colorful counterculture of the 60s. It's a sight that's as absurd as it sounds. But the CIA was dead serious about this, even going to the extent of setting up a special unit known as the Domestic Operations Division. But the methods used weren't just limited to disguises and infiltration. Oh no, they went full throttle. From wiretapping to mail opening, and even the occasional accidental bump into a person of interest, the CIA was pulling all stops. And here's the kicker. They even had a secret room, referred to as the hyperbase, where all this information was processed. It was like a James Bond movie, except instead of battling suave villains in exotic locales, our heroes were sifting through mountains of mail, listening to countless hours of phone calls, and trying to decipher the cryptic lingo of the flower children. But as grandiose as these plans were, they were not without their share of hiccups. I mean, imagine trying to infiltrate a group of free-spirited hippies with a guy who looks like he stepped straight out of Mad Men. It's like trying to camouflage a zebra in a field of daisies. Rather conspicuous, wouldn't you say? In all its audacity and absurdity, Operation Chaos was a testament to the lengths the powers that be were willing to go to maintain their grip on the status quo. It was a wild ride, filled with intrigue, subterfuge, and a fair bit of comedy, intentional or otherwise. And that, folks, was just the beginning. Now imagine being a peace-loving hippie minding your own business when suddenly, bam, you're thrust into the heart of Operation Chaos. The year is 1967 and you're just trying to spread love and peace, man. But the world has other plans. The anti-war movement is in full swing and you're right in the thick of it. Here's where things get interesting. Hippies, known for their love beads and psychedelic trips, suddenly find themselves on the front lines of a covert operation. It's like a twisted version of Alice in Wonderland, only with less tea parties and more wiretaps. Now the CIA is used to dealing with hardened spies and double agents, not flower power and peace signs. So, the hippies in their own unique ways begin to fight back. They use their music and art as weapons of peaceful protest, creating a counterculture that questions authority and demands change. Imagine this. A group of long-haired, tie-dyed hippies infiltrating the system, not with guns or violence, but with songs and sit-ins. They're waving their banners of peace in the face of war, and it's working. The public begins to question the government's actions, and the once seemingly invincible Operation Chaos starts to crack. It's like a comic book where the unlikely hero triumphs. Picture a super-powered hippie, armed with nothing but a guitar and a head full of dreams, taking down the bad guys one protest song at a time. But in this story, the bad guys aren't your typical villains. They're shadowy government figures, hidden behind a wall of secrecy and deceit. And our heroes? Well, they're just ordinary people like you and me, using their voices and creativity to fight for what they believe in. So, the hippies strike back, not with violence but with peace. They stand up to the powers that be, showing the world that you don't need to fight fire with fire. Sometimes all you need is a bit of love and a whole lot of courage. Bet the CIA didn't see that one coming. So, how does a story like this end? Spoiler alert, not well for the CIA. Now, imagine this, you're the CIA, you've got your fingers in every pie, you're feeling pretty invincible. But then, Operation Chaos happens. It's like stepping on a banana peel while you're on a tightrope. You're falling, and you're falling hard. The CIA, the mighty giant, had fallen, and it wasn't a graceful landing, let me tell you. It was more like a face-first tumble into a mud pit. And the best part? The world was watching, popcorn in hand. Operation Chaos was, well, chaos. It was like someone set a bull loose in a china shop and then decided to give the bull a caffeine boost for good measure. The operation was as subtle as a neon sign in a dark alley. It was supposed to be a secret mission, but it was about as secret as a teenager's diary with a lock that's easy to pick. The fallout was immense. The CIA, once the puppet master, was now the puppet. The agency was caught with its hand in the cookie jar, and boy was it a big jar. It was like catching a kid with their hand in the cookie jar, except the kid was a full-grown adult, and the cookie jar was filled with international secrets and shady dealings. And the irony, the delicious dark irony, the CIA had essentially shot itself in the foot. It's like trying to swat a fly and accidentally knocking over your priceless vase. And the fly? It's still buzzing around, mocking you. The impact was far-reaching. The CIA's credibility was shot. It was like a magician revealing his tricks mid-performance. The illusion was shattered, and the audience was left disillusioned. And just like that, the hippies had their day. They had watched the giant fall, and they were the ones left standing. And you know what they say about those who laugh last, don't you? They laugh the hardest. But what happened next? Well, that's where things get really interesting. In the wake of Operation Chaos, the CIA was left with a steaming pile of, let's just say, complications. The operation that was supposed to be a covert, clean-cut mission turned into a circus show, with the CIA playing the role of the clumsy clown. The aftermath was like a game of dominoes. One piece fell, and it triggered a cascade of events that shook the CIA to its core. The first domino to topple was the investigations. Now imagine the CIA as a kid with cookie crumbs all over his face, denying he ate the cookies. That was basically the CIA during the investigations. They had their fingerprints all over the place, yet they tried to play innocent. The investigations revealed the extent of the CIA's involvement in domestic affairs. A big no-no according to their charter. It was like finding out your favorite superhero was actually a villain. Shocking, right? Then came the long-term effects. The CIA's credibility took a nosedive faster than a lead balloon. The incident left a sour taste in the public's mouth. The agency that was supposed to protect them was spying on them instead. It's like finding out Santa Claus was actually checking if you were naughty or nice for his own amusement. But the most remarkable aftermath was the transformation inside the CIA. The agency had to do some serious soul-searching. It was like a midlife crisis, but instead of buying a red sports car, they had to reassess their values and operations. The absurdity of the situation was so profound that if it wasn't so serious, it would be hilarious. Picture this: the CIA, the epitome of intelligence and secrecy, was caught with its pants down in its own backyard. It's like catching a cat burglar tripping over his own shoelaces. And that, my friends, is the story of Operation Chaos. But wait, there's more! You didn't think we'd leave you hanging without spilling some of the juiciest, lesser-known tales of Operation Chaos, did you? Well, buckle up, because we're diving into the deep end of the pool of absurdity. Let's start with the infamous pigeon incident. Picture this: a high-level operative trained in the art of stealth and deception reduced to chasing a pigeon around a park. Why? Apparently the bird had picked up a document of utmost importance with its beak and was making a quick escape. The agent, of course, couldn't let a pigeon compromise national security. The chase ended with the agent, out of breath and dignity, retrieving the document, but not before providing some quality entertainment to unsuspecting park-goers. Next up, we have the taco stand fiasco. In an attempt to blend in with the locals, one operative decided to set up a taco stand. The idea was genius, really. What better way to keep an ear to the ground than to serve up delicious tacos? Except our man became a little too popular. His stand was so successful, he ended up getting swamped with customers, leaving him no time to actually do any spying. Talk about a delicious disaster. Lastly, there's the hippy-dippy spy. One agent went so deep undercover, he forgot he was a spy. He fully embraced the hippie lifestyle, peace signs and all. When he was finally contacted by the agency after months of radio silence, his response was, "Man, I was just really digging the vibes here. Forgot all about that spy stuff." These stories may seem outlandish, even comical, but they serve as a reminder of the unpredictability and inherent chaos of Operation Chaos. It was a time of extreme measures, bizarre incidents, and yes, even moments of hilarity. So, the next time you think about messing with a bunch of peace-loving hippies, remember Operation Chaos. Well, there you have it, a tale of intrigue, rebellion, and some seriously bad decision-making. Now, let's take a few moments to revisit our journey through the convoluted labyrinth that was Operation Chaos. The story began with an unexpected invitation, a benign knock at the door of our collective psyche, which soon turned out to be a Pandora's box of political subterfuge and counterculture rebellion. And boy did we open it. Remember the plot? Oh, it thickened all right, like a pot of cold oatmeal left out in the sun. A clandestine operation to infiltrate the anti-war movement, spearheaded by the very epitome of establishment, the CIA. It was like watching a cat trying to infiltrate a convention of dogs. And not just any dogs, mind you, but free-spirited, peace-loving, flower-power dogs. Then came the counterstrike, the hippies striking back, and how they did. It was like watching a game of chess where the pawns suddenly decided to revolt against the king. The fall of giants followed suit, a domino effect that sent shockwaves through the corridors of power. Let's just say that some of the bigwigs found out the hard way that even the mightiest can tumble. In the aftermath, we witnessed the fallout of a political experiment gone awry. The dust settled to reveal a landscape changed forever, a testament to the power of resistance and the folly of underestimating the little guy. Or in this case, the long-haired, peace sign flashing, flower in the gun barrel guy. The epilogue, the sweet taste of conclusion, the end of an era, the closing of a chapter. It was like watching the final scene of a movie that kept you on the edge of your seat, even though you knew how it was going to end. The hippies had their day, and the establishment got a taste of its own medicine. Now, as we wrap up, it's important to remember that this isn't just a story about the past. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, people can and will stand up for what they believe in. And sometimes, they might just win. So, as we step out of the time machine and back into the present, let's take a moment to appreciate the lessons we've learned. The importance of standing up for one's beliefs, the folly of underestimating the underdog, and the sheer unpredictability of life. And let's not forget the most important lesson of all, that no matter how well you plan, there's always a chance that a bunch of peace-loving hippies might throw a wrench in your works. If you enjoyed this roller coaster ride through the annals of American history, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more tales of intrigue, rebellion, and seriously bad decision-making. After all, history has a knack for repeating itself, and we're here to make sure you're in the front row when it does. Until next time, remember, don't mess with the hippies.